Here, read this.
Woof.
Hello, Ash here from the Read This podcast. Just a quick introduction to the clip you're about to see. This is taken from a conversation I had with Miles Leeson, guest on the latest episode of my podcast, which is all about Iris Murdoch's poetry collection, A Year of Birds. This is an extra bit where we talked a little bit about editions of that collection, and Miles spoke a little bit more widely about other editions of Murdoch's poetry. And we flashed a few covers on the screen, so it might be useful visually. Unfortunately, that means you'll be able to tell by the length of my hair how shamefully long this has taken me to get out. For that, I can only apologise. Yeah, it's. I'm assuming there is only one edition. I'm assuming it's just that one.
Ah.
Or are we different?
I've got three.
Oh, three. Oh, nice.
So I've got the original. This is how sad I am, Ash. I've got the original that came out in '84. So that's that one. I don't know now. Your one might be the original. You have to, if it is, it'll say on the print page it's published by Butler and Tanner in '84, which is
I don't
you
think
can probably check on the publication page, on the copyright page, I should say.
Oh yeah, Butler and Tanner, '84.
There you are. That's even better for you then, because that's
wow.
that's the really rare. That is the one that's worth a lot of money. It was reissued in '91, published by Butler and Tanner again. So that's the reissue.
Yeah.
And then there is this one. So I've got a proof here with actually some changes to the poems.
Wow.
These are not in her. This is not in her hand, and it's not an original. It's not the one that's actually been written on, apart from in pencil at the front. On the actual changes to her biography, but there are changes in the so for example in February you can probably see where there have been changes and crossings out and things.
Wow.
So this actually came out of her house. So when it's a long story, I can probably tell on the podcast if you want me to. So we were invited up by John Bailey's second wife to have a look in the attic to see if there was anything useful. And we found loads of stuff, including poetry notebooks. So obviously the ones you've got there, in her lifetime, she published about 30. But yeah, we've got over
poems.
1,000.
Is that sorry?
Poems over 30.
About
30 poems, but there's over 1,000 in her poetry notebooks that have never been published. So we're working on developing those for publication. There's this great big tome that I've been going through with, masses in. So there's that, and then this is probably the one that's most easily available. Poems by Iris Murdoch that came out in a limited run of 500 in '97 in Japan. I do have a few copies left for sale on the Iris Murdoch website. That includes Year of Birds, so it's actually cheaper. So there's that. So nice one. This is her first ever publication. So when she was 18, this came out when she was at school. She edited this at badminton school. She accosted W.H. Auden, and he wrote the introduction at her behest. When she was 18, he came to the school and she said, basically, you're going to write the introduction to this. So Auden writes the introduction. You can get this on book sites for about £100 now, I think. He wrote the foreword to that. And she brought out, there's a few in this very limited edition of Something Special, which came out in about 1990. So those are the ones that came out in her lifetime.
So it's one of the first and one of the last things she publishes poetry, despite the fact that it doesn't. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So she was working on. So the two guys that edited this collection that came out in '97, they went to see her in Oxford when she was quite ill. Well, they were talking about it for about 10 years, so she was okay for a while. But then, she got very ill. Her husband took over really. And it came out in '97, so she was, really in the throes of Alzheimer's then when it was finally published. So you could, because the last novel comes out in '95. So this is the last thing. Let me think. This and a collection of essays that comes out in '97 called Existentialist Mystics, the two things that come out. So this is either the last or the penultimate publication in her lifetime.
Gosh. And not apart from the Year of Birds, not much in between. Poetry wise,
Yeah. So this gives you in the appendix. This gives you a list of what she published where, and it's kind of incredibly small runs of like in magazines and things. Some of them just came out in the Badminton School magazine, in the Cherwell, Transatlantic Review, Boston University Journal, those sorts of things. But yeah, nothing. Yeah, not in the New Yorker or
No.
LRB or anywhere. No, nothing substantial like that.
In her pomp, was it one of her epithets, poet? Was she thought of as philosopher, critic, or novelist, poet?
No,
or was that
no, not
never?
at all. I mean,
No.
playwright would come before poet. I mean, she had seven. She wrote 7 plays or adapted 7 of her own novels. One of which did incredibly well. Severed Head, which transferred to Broadway. A couple of didn't. Italian Girl and Black Prince adaptations didn't do so well, and there's a couple that have never even been performed, which are still lying dormant. So at some point, something will happen to those, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Radio plays, but the poetry, no, nobody. I mean, she wanted to be a poet, but she didn't really have the talent for it, I think.
Right.